I have a question, right? And maybe I'm wrong about it, but I think the term terrorism have been thrown around loosely. Who's a terrorist? Is it that you have to be foreign born to be classified as a terrorist? Because I've seen Americans commit some of the worst atrocities against fellow Americans, and even though they were sent to prison for life, they were never charged with terrorism, and they unalive multiple people, terrorize multiple people. A lot of the times, they terrorize kids, hunt kids down in schools, and unalive those kids. The Las Vegas shooting, you know, several. Timothy McVeigh, the Oklahoma bombing. He was never charged with terrorism, right? And especially with a case like Timothy McVeigh, he had accomplices, but they were never charged, right? And in recent years, the FBI had designated some groups here in America as groups that we should watch out for. You know, dangerous groups. They could cause a problem at any time. They were armed, they were training, they were recruiting. If those guys were in another country, we would call them a terrorist because they were recruiting people, they were training, they were arming themselves around a particular ideology, like, for example, white supremacy, right? A lot of these guys, they talk about Black Lives Matter, and the president wants to designate Black Lives Matter as a terrorist organization, while he tell the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by. And I'm not saying this just because I'm black, but Black Lives Matter, they were not arming themselves. They were not terrorizing people. They were not training to fight around an ideology to overthrow another group or the government. We have several white supremacy groups that are doing just that. Recently, there was a white supremacy group that walked into a black neighborhood armed with the flags and saying racial slurs. Like, I've always known that those things were still here in America, but people were not confident enough to come out publicly with it. And that's fine. You know, you can have your own belief. You can, you don't have to like me, right? I don't have to believe in what you believe in. You know, you, I don't have to be a Christian to respect another Christian. You know, and not because I'm a Christian, I'm gonna hate on an atheist or a Muslim. That's your way of life. Who am I to say to you that you're wrong and I am right? And I recently heard the president saying he gonna designate certain groups as terrorist organization like Antifa. I don't think a lot of Americans even understand what Antifa means. Because if you do and you have a problem, then you're a problem. Because if you hate someone because they're anti fascist, then fascism is your way of life. And I don't even have to discuss that any further. But back to the point that I was trying to make. Why is it that when Americans commit serious atrocities, put the fear of God in Americans on American soil and unalive multiple people surrounded by their ideology, why are there no laws on the books to charge an American born person for terrorism? And if I'm wrong, let me know in the comment section. Let me know of an American born, an American citizen that did a school shooting, unalive multiple kids. You know, the DC shooter unalive multiple people. Well, maybe not all of them could be charged for terrorism because it wasn't behind an ideology, but the ones that were. A matter of fact, answer this question for me. Is there a law to charge Americans for committing acts of terrorism on American soil? Answer that question for me.